WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. I don't know about you, but Stagg is, it's still in my heart Stagg Junior, but Stagg is rare and exotic. We do not get this at all. This is that I get two different batches at the same time is an unknown phenomena for me, at least over in Germany in the last 10 years. All right, so I have over here my 65.5%, which is, of course, the 131 proof, which translates into batch number 18. Now, this is the very, very first bottle of Stagg that is no longer named Junior. It was released in 2022. Whiskybase number 230408. This is batch number 19. This is 65%, which means 130 proof. So this is batch, as I said, 19. Whiskybase number 235859. Now, this has an average price at the moment over here in Europe of 220 euros. This has an average price at the moment of 330 euros. I bought both of these for 128 euros each. I saw the price and it's like immediately I bought them, and then I shared the link with others. It's like first me first, and then the rest of the world. I just did my German video. I enjoy both of these. The 22B, I want to say 2022B, but it's a 22B is actually better. Now, what I don't understand, maybe someone can help me here. Every single year since basically our the year 2013, there's been a winter-summer release of Stagg. Used to be called Stagg Junior, but it would be, okay, 2023 in the winter, we have a release batch 1. Buffalo Trace never called it batch 1. They never gave them batch numbers. They just had the community had to actually give them the names, do tables to actually have the proofs to know what is. Luckily, there hasn't been, at least I do not know of any single proofs that have been doubled, so we could always differentiate between the two. And this worked out just fine until the year 2022. And then they got rid of the junior part, and that was batch 18, which was confusing, but okay. And then for batch 19, they put down on the label a nice little thing called 22B. So 22B, you see that, right? So, which of course would be, okay, the second batch in the year 2022, which makes sense. And then in the spring of 2023, they brought out something called 22A. And then in the summer of 2023, they have 23A. Who knows what they're going to do in the summer of 2024? I haven't seen the new batch yet. I mean, come on, Buffalo Trace. I think you can do a little bit better. I'm confused. All right, so if you're going to put things on there, all right, good. Who knows? Who knows? A's and B's. We don't have a B. We might have a C one day, all right? So, oh well, that's things. That's the way things are. I have no idea how big the batches are. Does anyone know? All I know is they use the low rye mash bill. And I know that these things, they're so exclusive, so seclusive, that if you actually go to Buffalo Trace website, it's not even on the website. You can find Antique Collection, you can find George T. Stagg, but actually under the brands, you cannot find Stagg or Stagg Junior. Now, over here in Germany, Sazerac used to use, and they still do until the end of the year, I think, when was it? They're until, this summer. So basically now, more or less, they used to use a different distributor, Diversa. Diversa has been their partner in Germany since 2016. At least that's what I read here, all right? So let's see here, 2015, I'm wrong. So Diversa and Team Spirits have now Sazerac brands on board since 2015. So they've had 9 years of cooperation. Both of my bottles here have the imported by Sazerac of Ireland. Now, behind Sazerac of Ireland, there's this company called High Spirit that's been doing this for years. Ireland, every time I go to Whiskey Life Dublin, Buffalo Trace has a stand there. They do often a antique collection tasting. They have the best selection of Buffalo Trace products, I'm going to say, in Europe, if not the world, because you can actually have the opportunity, if you're in Ireland and you have great connections with the store that have that are on the distribution list from High Spirits, Sazerac, Ireland, you can get the antique collection, you can get the Stagg, you can get things you can't get anyplace else. And for some reason, these bottles appeared on whisky.de, an online shop, the biggest online shop for whiskey, as far as I'm concerned, over here in Germany. And first of all, they had the batch 65.5, I think. Yes. They had the wrong batch on the wrong ABV, and they had to write an email. Do you accept having a different batch? It's like, I don't care. It's 128 euros instead of the normal 200 at the moment. I want this. And then just a week later, they have a new batch, which was like, hey, I actually tried to order 2 bottles. It was 1 bottle per person. All right. So what did I do? I put these together as a set. I offered them to my super fans out there here in Germany, and I had 14 sets of 5 CL each. I get 5 CL of these, and I get to enjoy, get to do my video, and everyone's happy, I hope, because that was a wonderful, wonderful price compared to the normal secondary market prices I would have to pay otherwise. All right, so just pouring a little bit, just nosing a little bit, just talking about this. Question of the day, question number 1 of the day. How readily available is Stagg in your part of the world? Second question of the day, how readily available is antique collection? So Stagg Junior, Hardy, Eagle Rare 17, and so on. I remember 8 years ago when I started out, people would offer me samples of their antique collection. They're like, Jason, I paid 80 euros for the bottle. Here, you can have a sample. It's like, oh, wow, that's a lot of money. Now it's today. It used to be 800. If you want to buy a George T. Stagg, 800 euros was the standard price. Recently, some bottles have been appearing in the market at 500 euros, which is way out of my league anyways. But how is the availability and the pricing situation of Stagg, George T. Stagg, Eagle Rare 17, W.L. Weller, Thomas H. Hardy? What are the prices of antique collection and Stagg? Just interests me. And if you've had any of the recent batches of Stagg, which ones do you prefer? Many, many people prefer the 22B. I'm going to say excellent perfection. 22, earthier, darker, woodier. Just on the nose, I would give this an A. I'd give this an A minus, B plus. Tasting. Oh, the 65%, no problem whatsoever. I did a direct comparison of the Booker's 2024-01E darker. This one, I called this a bass. I called this a baritone. Much better. Very, very nice. I'm going to stick with my A rating here. Over here, the 22. The 22. The batch 18 was 65.5%. Darker, woodier. A little bit more alcohol, actually. Both of these are excellent whiskeys. This is A minus, C plus. A minus, B plus. This is in solid A. I don't know if I'd be able to do that blind and give them those rankings as well, but from my gut feeling and from what I have at this moment, my first initial impression, both of these are fantastic. I just did 4 days ago an Elijah Craig barrel proof blind tasting of 6 different, from A117 all the way up to the C923 or whatever it was. And interesting enough, the lower ABVs, 60.1, 60.5, actually did better than the higher ABVs, 63, 63.2, and so on. This can hold its own with a great Elijah Craig barrel proof. Elijah Craig barrel proof is readily available. It's going to cost you $80 or less. These are phantoms. These are ghosts. These are very, very difficult to find. And if you do find one for something around the recommended retail price, you can't go wrong. But is it something I would hunt? Is it something I'd pay triple the price for on secondary? No. I just decided not to buy these anymore. I set a limit of 150 euros. If they're under 150, yes. If they're over 150, no. What is your limit for Stagg? That's my second question. What would you be willing to pay for finding one of these out in the wild? So, thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others. It's not a detailed tasting deep dive here. It's a little bit of reflecting on the market situation with allocated bottles that are almost impossible to find. And the question mark, the mystery, the riddle that has not been solved is how in all the world did these bottles make it from Sazerac of Ireland over to Germany and were actually set into the market at a price which is almost half of the normal secondary price. What wheels were turning, what twists of fate had to happen, what was actually going on here? I don't know. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing. See you real soon. Whiskey Jason here. No Stagg Jr., Stagg for the win. Bye-bye.